Hi Virgos, it's Nick and Nala. I hope you guys are doing good. This is for all my Virgos, Sun, Moon, Rising. We are now covering your weekly reading for November 7th till the 13th, as you can see below. And this week, what's going on in the sky astrologically for all of us? Well, on November 8th, we have a full moon, a lunar eclipse in Taurus at 16 degrees. So all the fixed signs will probably feel this full moon the most. Of course, Taurus, Scorpios, Leos, and Aquariuses. And it may actually affect you positively since you are trining Taurus, your fellow earth sign. But you can look in your natal chart and see where you have Taurus and which house, and that's going to be the area of life that you probably will see it play out or feel it the most. Some may feel it, some may not, but this full moon is like a supercharged, super mega full moon. So most likely we will all be feeling it to a certain extent in some area of our life because a cycle is closing out. A chapter is ending, but a new chapter is beginning. One door is closing, but a new door is opening up. And we're going to feel this in a certain area of our life, whether it's internally, externally, or both. It's like we're not the same. We're going through this whole rebirth, change process since the new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio a few weeks back. So a cycle is closing out for all of us, and I think you'll be feeling like changed. You'll be feeling very different. Maybe not as dramatically as some of the other signs, but I think we will all feel it to a certain extent. Like things are different, things are shifting, they're changing, it's not the same. Okay, so we're going to be covering a little bit of health, work, and love. I'll have the link to the extended reading below in the description box if you're interested afterwards. And of course, if you want to follow me on my Instagram or TikTok, I try my best to post when I can. It's Nicloves with 2 eyes. Always link below if you're interested. And of course, I have my poetry book. If you're interested in checking it out, it's available on Amazon. And I'll have a link below as well if you're interested. Okay? All right, so we're gonna be going over your health, then career, work, finances, and then relationships and love. Or it could just be a relationship in your life. It doesn't have to be just romantic, but can also be love. Okay? All right, so let's get right into it, guys. So my beautiful Virgos, when it comes to your health, in this area of life, you're receiving love and support through another person, and this can be a feminine energy. Maybe it's a mother, maybe it's a sister, maybe it's a friend, or a neighbor, or a relative, or someone that you know, or your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, or someone that you know. I mean, not boyfriend. I feel like it's a feminine energy. So I feel like most likely it's coming from a female or just the feminine energy, okay? And I think this person is bringing you love and support, or is helping to comfort you, or is doing something nice for you. Maybe someone is cooking for you or inviting you over to their house and you guys are just watching a movie and chilling. Maybe you're going to like a spa, or you're doing some self-care. This is a week where I feel like a lot of people are trying to take care of themselves more, trying to slow down, relax, not do too much, not put so much on their plate. And a lot of us are kind of going within and maybe feeling really emotional. So you may be kind of emotional this week, or in your feelings, you're like, oh, why am I feeling this way? But trying to take care of yourself. Being around water will be really beneficial for you. Also drinking lots of water, staying hydrated. But I feel like there is a feminine energy or a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, who is going to help you with your health. Maybe this is your doctor, your therapist, your counselor, who's just kind of talking to you or giving you some emotional support as well. But this can also just be you trying to take care of yourself and paying attention to your internal world, your emotional self, and being kind to yourself and practicing more self-care this week, because it is kind of like a high charged week for a lot of us. Okay, all right, and then when it comes to your career, work, finances, in this area of life, I think you may be feeling a little bit like tired, burnt out, or like you've had writer's block, or not as passionate, not as motivated, or maybe you feel kind of burnt out, like, man, like I'm just like over this, I'm so tired. Maybe some of you have been dealing with some health issues that are contributing or adding on to the stress of work possibly. You could also be dealing with maybe just like feeling backstabbed, feeling betrayed, or something is ending in your work, in your career, your school, or something has ended and you're kind of stressed about it. You're like, oh my God, like, I don't know, this is really bad, or I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe your company is being sold, or someone got fired, or you have to replace someone, or you lost your job and now you're changing your job. But something has ended and it's kind of taking a toll on your mental health. And so you've been feeling kind of like I don't want to think about this, like I have to think about this, but I don't want to think about it. I feel like I don't have the energy. I feel like I don't have like I can't think straight. I can't, I have brain fog and I can't seem to focus. And maybe you feel like you lack focus or energy right now, and that's okay. Remember, we have Mars and Gemini retrograding right now, so a lot of us may be feeling this way, especially because Gemini is your fellow mercurial sign. So you could be feeling this as well, and like thinking too much or thinking about things that you can't change. So something has ended, it's affecting your mental health, maybe physical health as well, and you could just be feeling like you don't have a lot of energy or like time to be like thinking about it, or you just feel like I can't deal with this right now, and you may need a little bit of a break. And I think it's good to allow yourself and give yourself a little bit of a break so you can kind of just like breathe and then come back to it. Okay, but I do feel like you're maybe being a lot harder on yourself than you need to be, and it's important for you to show yourself a little bit of grace and just allow yourself to kind of process everything, and then okay, move forward, and not let anything stop you. Just know that, okay, things may slow down, it's okay, I'm being thrown some curveballs here, but I can move past this, I can move forward. Okay. Okay, and then when it comes to your love or relationships, or a relationship in your life, on your side, sorry, I had to pause there, battery was dying. Okay, so on your side here, we have the Four of Cups, Two of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So being really in your head, you're like super in your head, indecisive, brain fog, not really wanting to think too much or thinking too much and not knowing what to do, not taking any action. You're just really in your head right now. Then on this other side, for this other person, this can be the past, present, or future situation, or all three, all the above. We have the Nine of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, and the Three of Wands. Okay, so as far as who you could be dealing with, it definitely could be a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and maybe Capricorn, or also fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Doesn't have to be that, could be any sign, like I would say to you guys. It can just be the energies person is embodying or playing out at this time. Okay, so what is going on here, guys? I feel like you didn't want to see it, or you just couldn't see it, or you just were not seeing it. What you've been wanting, what you want has been in front of you, or is right in front of you, and it's so much closer to you than you think. But maybe you thought you wanted something else, but what you thought you wanted was really not what you wanted. And then you realize that maybe you were holding yourself back, or you were so fixated on like, oh, it has to be this kind of thing or this kind of person, and it's not that, then it's not going to happen. But you kind of limited yourself, and you put yourself in this bubble or this like restricted little cube and box, and limiting yourself from all these other possibilities and opportunities. So I feel like what you want, or what you've been wanting, is right in front of you, or has been right in front of you this whole time. And that is getting revealed to you this week, or you're realizing that something you were unsure about, or you're having doubts about, now you know, now you don't have doubts about it. You weren't sure, you thought you knew what you wanted, but now that you see that that was wrong, now you actually know what you want. Or you're not, you no longer have doubts about it. So it's like you go from not having clarity to having clarity about something. And in this connection, or with this person, whether it's like your spouse, your friend, relative, whatever, I feel like this person has been on your side, on your team, or is really supportive of you and will do anything for you. And maybe this is someone you haven't met yet as well, but I feel like this person really is proud of you, or really loves you, really cares about you, and wants to be there for you. And you're so lucky to have them, but you didn't realize how lucky you were, like how much this person does for you, or how much they're willing to do for you if you just extended your hand, if you just opened up, if you just talked to them. They would be like, yeah, no problem, I can do that. And you're like, oh wow, really? Like it was that easy? They would go above and beyond for you, but maybe you've never stepped that boundary, you never stepped that far to ask, or to try, or to say anything. but this person is in your surroundings, or maybe you go to school with them, or you see them, they're your neighbor. I feel like they're close to you. They're not that far away from you. And I feel like they're really, if you just ask them, if you just talk to them, they're willing to help. But maybe you were kind of stubborn or kind of in your pride, like, no, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, no, it's not this person. I don't like them, or I don't want to ask for their help, or like, I don't need them. I want to do it on my own. But that was stopping you. That was limiting you. And I think you were like not seeing what's right in front of you and looking down instead of looking up, and you didn't want to make a decision, or you were just feeling really indecisive. But now, instead of, you're getting out of your feelings, out of your head, and taking action of what of the thing that you were doing that maybe you stopped doing, now you're going to do again, but in a different way with clearer intentions. I know this may be sounding kind of confusing, because I know it probably comes off that way, but I think if you're going through this, or this relates to you, you're going to get me, you're going to understand. But if it doesn't, it's okay, it doesn't. But it's coming out in a way where like, I don't get it, but I know you will get it if this is messages for you. If that makes sense. I feel like if this is romantically, that this is someone that maybe you've kind of been avoiding, maybe you friend zone, or you're like, oh no, I don't like this person, oh, they're just whatever. But they're actually a really great person, and someone who really cares about you, really likes you, and would do anything for you. But maybe you kind of took them for granted, or you kind of just pushed them aside, or you friend zoned them completely, and you didn't realize that actually they've always been there for you. They would actually probably be a really good fit for you, a really great partner, or just someone who you would have a great relationship with. Okay? And if this is someone like a relative, a friend, or something like that, maybe you never wanted to ask them for help or tell them that you were feeling this way or feeling conflicted or in your head. But then once you opened up and started hanging out or talking to them, you see how helpful they really are. So sometimes you have to realize you don't have to suffer alone. You don't have to do things alone. Sometimes just by talking with people and opening up, it can resolve so many of like our mental conflicts and things that we think that we can only deal with in ourselves, or we shouldn't talk about. Sometimes just talking about it, opening up, that in itself just solves so many of our problems, and being so hard on ourselves, or wanting to figure it all out on our own when we don't have to. That's why we have connections. That's why we have people in our life that can kind of help us work through things that maybe in our head is like, we're so jam-packed with so many other things that sometimes it can be hard to think straight, right? It's like sometimes when you're looking at a crossword puzzle, and you don't see a word but someone else sees it, just because you're just you've been like looking at it for so long, you kind of your vision could be narrowed. So sometimes having like another perspective, another pair of eyes, ears, can really help. Okay, so let's continue on and extend it to get more information, to see where their energy is at. What are they thinking? What are they feeling when it comes to you? What they don't want you to know that maybe you should know, and what their next action move will be towards you, and also your advice. Okay, so we'll continue on and extend it. Link will be below. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. If not, I'll see you for our next reading. Take care. Bye.